was this about Daggerheart stream? We're gonna have one eventually. Sorry, my dogs are barking, but we're gonna have one eventually. Yahoo! I'm just gonna it's just a chatting stream where I watch stuff or I just watch stuff. You know what I mean? It's just chatting. Category. No. I'm not making a campaign. My good friend Taiki is making a campaign, so I'm here. Oh no, my dogs are howling. They're going, oh. Anyway, I shall do a couple of things and I'm gonna go live on the other place. We're basically just trying to like, well, to be fair, what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to fix our silly, what do you call that? We figure out what's wrong with TikTok, but we're gonna do something fun while at it, I guess. And we're real. We're real, I think. We're real. For real. Oh wait, are we real? Oh no, I'm being silly. I don't even know if this works still. Give me a second. Anyway, let's actually just go to the place. Let's go to the place. Where was it? This one? No, that's the wrong. Wrong place. This place. Oh my, why is that being silly? I haven't fixed this stupid, I guess everything is just really strong thing that's happening. I think my CPU is at 100 again. And I'm really trying. I see Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, we're gonna watch some videos. This one's why Japanese fantasy has dungeons and sometimes dragons. Okay, I don't know why. Why is my encoder overloaded? Okay, give me a second. Fix that. What is there music, by the way? There we go, that should work. Yeah, there, that works. Okay, is there music? I wanna check, because there's supposed to be music. No, I fixed it, so there's music. Yeah, there, that works. Yeah, there is music! Yahoo! Okay. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Welcome everybody. We're here for real. We're actually here for real. Imagine being here. Imagine being alive. Imagine being around. I have to check something though. So before we start, I'm gonna go do that. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm gonna go check something first. Oh shit. What the fuck was I watching? What was I gonna look at? I need to look at something like real quick. Sorry if like it's weird, but we're gonna talk today about Daggerheart. We're gonna talk today about Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna talk today about fantasy, because how does one say this? I am just exceedingly, like, you know, I'm just exceedingly happy about this stuff. Because, like, recently, sorry if I'm just asleep, but recently, a good friend of mine, I mean, a member of my chat, and at the end of the day, basically a friend, has decided to do, not a campaign, like a one-shot for Daggerheart. Daggerheart, which is like Daggerheart is like D&D. It's just like D&D, except for it's different. So I'm just super duper excited for it. Super duper excited for it, actually. Like so excited, super duper excited. Because like you know, actually, we play tested it. You know, I'll be honest, I've been a bit apprehensive about certain things, you know, because, you know, I've been apprehensive about certain things recently because I've been, how do I say this? I've my D&D stuff hasn't been as fun as it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been as fun as it used to be. Like, I love Dungeons and Dragons, but it hasn't been hitting right. It used to hit better, but now it does not. It does not hit better anymore, and it's like, I guess I just wished it would hit good again. You know, I feel like it's gotten stale-ish. You know what I mean? Dungeons and Dragons for me has gotten a bit stale, so I sort of want to fix that, to remedy that. You know, yeah. So that's it. That's a dealio. That's a dealio. Let's see. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Okay, let's actually watch some stuff. Are we ready to watch some stuff? Are we actually ready? Are we ready to watch? I'm ready. I'm actually ready. I'm actually so ready, guys. I'm so ready, guys. So this video we're gonna watch right now, why Japanese fantasy has Dungeons and some Dragons. Because I've been like wondering why as well, because like, you know, well, we've all watched Dungeon Meshi, and we all know that in Dungeon Meshi, like, I think the person that made Dungeon Meshi is actually a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. Am I correct? Am I correct? I could be wrong, but we're gonna go ahead and try to look at that right now. We should try to look at that right now.
Have you ever wondered why Japanese fantasy often looks more European than Japanese? Why are there medieval castles, blonde elves, and stone dungeon crawls like something straight out of D&D in anime and JRPGs? Hi everyone, my name is Lee, and welcome back to this weird place where we're learning something new about tabletop role-playing games and their place in pop culture. This is going to be the story of how tabletop role-playing games made its way to Japan, and how things like Record of Lodoss War and Sword World RPG helped shape
Record
the
of
style
Lodoss
of
War.
fantasy that
I
we
like
still
that
see in
one.
games, TV, and anime today.
That's one of my
let's
favorites.
Dive right in and let's
I mean, no.
see how this happened. So, in the West, fantasy
it's
grew
not,
out of
but then
stories
that's
like
something I
Lord of the
really
Rings.
like.
It was a very Tolkien influence. We had King Arthur legends, you know, things of medieval Europe in general. But Japan didn't quite have the same kind of background when it comes to fantasy as a genre. Lord of the Rings didn't get an official Japanese translation until 1972.
So
and even
what?
then, it was pretty dense and
So
really
what were
formal, so it
perhaps
didn't quite
genre?
catch on right away. For example,
things
Middle
that do
Earth was
genre.
translated to Nakatsukuni, which literally means middle country. The whole book is full of translations like
Middle
that. That are just
country.
very, very, like,
You mean
formal
like,
language.
isn't
And
that
so
like
when
wait, middle country? That's like okay, like legitimately speaking, that's China, right? Like if we're gonna talk about, sorry, I used to know Chinese. Middle country, that's China. I'm pretty sure that's China.
Japanese geek culture really started to grow, it wasn't centered around fantasy, it was all around science fiction. From the post-war era through the early 1980s, sci-fi was at the heart of Japanese culture. First, Godzilla came out in 1954, Astro Boy became the first televised anime in 1963,
Astro
and university
Boy.
science fiction clubs were really popping off. You know, fan-made doujinshi, which is like self-printed publications or zines, were popular ways of sharing works with each other, and magazines like Sci-Fi Magazine, SF Magazine, were getting popular and coming out at the time. Japan's first science fiction convention was even held back in 1962. Sci-fi was really the popular girl at the time. In 1983, a translator and sci-fi writer named Hitoshi Yasuda also started writing about tabletop RPGs in hobby and sci-fi magazines. He wrote 2 articles. I believe he published an article in a magazine called Login, and it was kind of one of those things that first introduced what a tabletop RPG was to the general public. Of course, it was about sci-fi RPGs at the time. The first RPG that got a Japanese translation was Traveler, which is a space exploration RPG that happened in 1984. D&D and fantasy did eventually come to Japan, but it had a tough start. So pre-1985, it was only available in English. It was expensive, and it just wasn't the same type of book that Japanese people know.
Imagine having something this day and age. It will always be expensive.
In the bunko size, which is about an A6. It's small. It's paperback.
Oh,
it's usually black and white,
manga.
And doesn't have a lot of illustrations in it.
Novels.
So for example, if we go back to the Lord of the Rings, I think the Fellowship of the Ring in bunko size is actually 3 separate books that has to be split up. And so D&D was only available in
you already thought it was
format,
cumbersome, so it was even more cumbersome.
And you couldn't go to a regular bookstore to buy it either.
So
you had to go to
super
a
duper
hobby
cumbersome
shop or
then.
a toy store. So if you didn't live in one of the big cities in Japan, you probably weren't able to find it anyway. The only people who picked up D&D early on were probably enthusiasts of war games or PC gamers who were already familiar with games like Wizardry or Ultima, which were really popular in Japan.
Ultima, like the things in Final Fantasy Ultima.
Japanese translation, and it was pretty successful. It started to slowly become a little bit more popular. So the first edition that they brought was the Red Box. It sold about 100,000 copies in its first year. So, you know, it did okay for a little bit. But then in 1991, they tried to transition to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah,
due to a
always. If you change the thing, it'll be weird.
It was a financial disaster. I believe it only sold like 10,000 copies or something. It was even more expensive than the previous version was. And then in 1994, MediaWorks acquired the license to D&D from Shinwa, and they started publishing paperback versions. They had brought Group SNE
that looks so pretty. It actually looks so pretty.
D&D rules Cyclopedia. And I think this is the first time that D&D
imagine having like anime fantasy art.
Full extensive
you know what I mean? Like an anime fantasy art version thing on your Dungeons and Dragons.
It was divided into multiple paperbacks of bunko size. The layout was changed, and a lot of the illustrations were actually replaced with manga-like illustrations that were familiar for Japanese people.
So pretty. Look at that shit.
The rules for levels 1 to 9 in 3 different books.
Sorry.
So
that looks like a scene from Berserk. Like this one in particular. Like this look like a scene from Berserk. If anyone here likes anime.
Published the rules for levels 1 to 9 in 3 different books. So you had the player's book, the Dungeon Master book, and then a Monsters book. They also had a bunch of different mix of media at the time that all kind of advertised what D&D was. D&D had a magazine circulating in Japan, and Capcom even teamed up with them to make an arcade game. And in the 1980s, a group of friends, including Yasuda Hitoshi, who would later form the company Group SNE, were playing Dungeons and Dragons together. Instead of just taking notes, they fully transcribed their game sessions, including character dialogue, out-of-character conversations, DM, narrating, all of that. And they started...
Don't we all wish we could do that to our D&D sessions? Just fully transcribe it, just make it into a novel? Well, that's the reason why there's a particular issue when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons where it sort of like just attracts weirdos that they want, like, control freaks that just wanna have like that just want to make a book, right? Like it just attracts control freaks that want to make a book as opposed to control freaks, I mean normal people, you know? So people like make Dungeons and Dragons games. The DM wants to make a Dungeons and Dragons game, but you know, it's like a very low tier thing, like where they make a Dungeons and Dragons game because they want to make a novel, and they hope and they pray that the player characters act like they would in the novel, but you know, that's not how it works. So that's why that's all. Makes sense. Makes complete other sense.
Publishing these replays in the...
Hello, Juan. Welcome to the stream. Why are you making a silly face?
magazine Comptic under the title Record of Lodos War, starting in
Oh yeah,
1986.
dude.
This became super popular. Readers absolutely loved it. It reached an audience of
What's that lady? I forgot what her name is. A cute elf from Record of Lodoss War. Okay, good. You're doing good. I hope that's what that means. There's oh shit, she's so pretty. The lady from Record of Lodoss War, and she has such huge like shoulder pads, you know? Really pretty. I have that. No, I don't have it. I wanted to play that game, but
of tens of thousands of people a month. You didn't need to understand how tabletop RPGs work to enjoy it. It read like a regular fantasy novel. It had illustrations, it had dialogue, and it was very easily digestible. A little side note, Comptic is just a regular computer magazine, so it wasn't something...
Oh, it's just... Oh, this is why Japanese fantasy is very Dungeons and Dragons coded. When Dungeons and Dragons is not a... what's it called? It's not a Japanese thing, right? So that's what we're watching right now. Why is Japanese fantasy so Dungeons and Dragons coded?
That was geared only towards hobbyists or really niche things. It was a very common interest that a lot of people had, so the magazine circulated to a ton of people. For a lot of people in Japan, this was the first time that they had ever seen what a tabletop RPG could look like. Kadokawa had actually planned to publish these Record of Lodos War replays as a compilation and sell it as a paperback, but TSR...
Wait, so Record of Lodoss War, the video game, the property, is based on a literal game, like a literal... Sorry if I'm just comprehending this now, but it's based on a literal D&D game. Oh, isn't that interesting? Is that... Oh, so it's sort of like a legacy. There's sort of a legacy of making content from Dungeons and Dragons games.
Who is the creators of D&D, and Shinwa, who is the licensor of D&D in Japan, had only allowed the publication of these serialized actual play sessions, but they didn't want those sessions to become compiled and sold as a book under the D&D brand. And so there was even an interview with Hitoshi Yasuda, who had said, "We made Record of Lodos War because we wanted to promote D&D, but..."
I think it conflicts. Just write a book and don't run the campaign. It does! It conflicts that, because like remember right, the entire Dilio Magigolo is that... Oh sorry, I think the audio is just too much background music, I think. But do you remember like the issue with a lot of D&D DMs is that they sort of want you to play out their novel, you know, as opposed to what do you call that? They want you to play out a novel as opposed to create something for yourself, right? Right. So that's sort of it. But I guess back in the day they used novels. they use Dungeons and Dragons play sessions, you know, like the backwards. They used the D&D games to make D&D books, which were eventually used to market Dungeons and Dragons the game. Interesting.
TSR didn't allow us to make Record of Lodos War a part of their D&D promotion. The situation was really complicated.
Oh wait, never mind. I didn't hear that properly.
By two different companies. The game itself was sold by Shinwa, and peripheral materials such as these replays and novels were handled by Kadokawa, who Group SNE was working with. Kadokawa basically went back to Group SNE and was like, hey, they are not going to allow us to print this novel of Record of Lodos War with the D&D brand. So let's make your own system, make your own rules, replay
doesn't
the
that
campaign,
sound like what happened to
publish
Critical
it.
Role?
And they did, and that was a huge success. Record of Lodos War was published as a novel based on those original sessions, but they didn't use any of the D&D brand. They had basically come up with their own RPG system, and that's what they used. So this and later sequels went on to become a huge hit, eventually reaching over 10 million copies. And when Group SNE made a sequel to the Record of Lodos War replay, that's when they switched
that sounds like
to
what happened to
using
Critical
their
Role.
own original Record of Lodos War
Because you're not allowed
RPG
to make...
system.
You're not allowed to... Did you know, for Dungeons and Dragons, you're not allowed to make, I think, third-party content for it anymore, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I might be wrong. If I remember correctly, you're not allowed to make party content anymore. And that's the reason why Dungeons and Dragons is fucking dying. That's the reason why Critical Role made their own system.
Eventually, in 1989, they even came out with their
Hello,
own
Mephistopheles.
native
Welcome to the
tabletop role-playing
stream.
game, Sword World RPG, which is
Oh,
set partially in the Record of Lodoss War
wow.
area.
Thanks for the
geography.
redeem.
So let's talk a little bit about Sword World. Sword World was designed to fit Japan's gaming culture. It only uses 6-sided dice, which were the easiest type of dice to find at the time in Japan.
Introducing
Oh no, an ad. Thanks for the head pat.
Jollibee favorites mo. Anytime.
A unique feature to Sword World is something called
Thanks
fellows.
for the liquid drink.
So essentially, you can create an NPC for other people's games. You have a character sheet specifically for fellows, or you can turn one of your existing characters into a fellow, and they have stats, they have a random roll chart for combat actions, and you can even
I'm supposed to
write in
actually
little lines.
drink for real, but I can't find my actual jug. Oh, I found it. Never mind. I found my jug. Ugh, here it is. Did I tell my people I'm online? No, we're just poking the system today. We're just poking the system today for real. We're just poking the system today. I mean, like, who's probably gonna be around at this time, right? It's like 10 a.m. I don't have anyone here. I don't know anyone here. Hi, Shamal! Hi, Shamal! It's Shamal! Welcome to the stream! We're also live in the other platform, but, ugh. Well, at least we're not, restricted or anything, I think. Unless... No, at least we're not restricted. So I'm wondering what happened last time that restricted us. We're on. Do you guys know we're actually also on TikTok? We're also streaming on TikTok. I don't know if it's worthwhile. I don't know if it's worthwhile to stream on TikTok, but we're gonna try because I sort of wanna try. I don't wanna give up. I almost crashed out. I crashed out yesterday because I felt like giving up on TikTok because it's sort of like I don't know. It said I was nude. Like it said nudity. I got bunked for nudity. Like, bro, I'm wearing so much clothes. You know, like what the hell, bruh? Like what the hell? Anyways, I'm not gonna lie. I'm showing less skin than so many people. I oh look bald. I'm showing so much less skin than so many people. I was checking shit out, and like other people have so much more skin than me. Now we bald. How do you like it? How do you like the bald redeem? I love the bald redeem because my fucking spherical head is spherical as fuck, but not too spherical. Just a decent amount of sphericality, as they say, as I say.
Of dialogue that they would say during combat, and you can post them online or you
Oh.
can download them. They would stay in the background unless you go into combat, and like they cannot die, they cannot take damage. If they do die, they're said to just mysteriously disappear. After you
Mysteriously
use a fellow, the
disappear.
book encourages people
That
to
makes
contact
sense
the
because
fellow's
you sort of
creator
want
and thank them and give them a little recap
sort of
of the
want that to
adventure that they went
happen.
on. I just think it's really, really cute and reminds me so much of all the Souls games where you know
Right.
people leave messages for you, people like help you out, or you can just summon a friend and help you fight some insane.
Do you think the jiggle physics too strong? I don't think so. Unless I don't know. I don't know. Why is my just chatting screen more weird? Oh, hello, thanks for the follow. I was a tsunami. No. Lol, that's a silly name. Speaking of which, cause like the entirety of Asia is like oh tsunami. It's just a tsunami. But if I remember correctly, the entirety of America is sort of freaking out about it. Is it something worth freaking out about? Or like because Hawaii should have their own like stuff in place for like tsunamis, right? Because you know it's an island. Shouldn't tsunamis be something like an expected thing to happen? It's an island in the Pacific, so as a person that lives in an island in the Pacific as well, or near the Pacific, typically speaking, these islands are prepared. Shouldn't Hawaii also be prepared? Because there's so much panic. Thanks for the redeem. Hawaii should also have tsunami because they're near an active volcano. Right. Right, right. They should have a tsunami and earthquakes. Yeah, yeah, but apparently it's a really big deal. To be fair, like the entire world, okay, they're in the Pacific. So of course things are happening, right? Of course things are happening because they're on the Pacific Ocean, but I'm honestly wondering. I'm honestly wondering what the logistically speaking, is the world okay? Is this what everybody calls global warming? The effects of global warming? And boobs phobic. They are. But like, dude, like I've seen people with worse. I've seen people with worse, and how come they get to have a good time, eh? How come people get a good time? Oh, everybody except me.
And boss, you know, driving you insane because it's been 20 hours and you still can't beat it. I don't know if this is 100% a correlation, but I wonder if something like Sword World had inspired this kind of trope in other Japanese fantasy things that we see today. A lot of other Japanese values that we can see that come into Sword World are things like adventurers don't fight each other. Because adventurers should work together, fighting with other adventurers is considered the greatest taboo. Another one is no two adventurers or adventurer parties can take on the same job. Once taken on, a job can be taken on by another group only if the first one has given up or killed without completing it.
Oh, that sucks.
Kind of ties us all back to like the adventurer guild trope that you see in a lot of Japanese fantasy and a lot of animes and games and stuff.
So it all stems back to Dungeons and Dragons, eh?
And then another one that kind of reflects the collective way of thinking that Asian cultures tend to have is adventurers help.
What the call me doing? We're just watching videos today. It's just chatting. It's a just chatting day. Ah shit, someone's calling my name. I'll be right. And I'm back. Hello. Yeah, so we're just watching videos because I got super duper obsessed with Daggerheart and such.
Other adventurers. Adventurers are encouraged to help other adventurers in need as much as possible, and if they come across fallen adventurers, they should do their best to bring their bodies home, which is just really beautiful and really sweet. Rather than copying D&D, Swordwell kind of adapted the RPG experience specifically to a Japanese audience, and it really permeated a lot of these tropes.
Very Asian, very
Asian. That we consider
Asian.
Japanese fantasy today. So what started as a series of articles in a magazine replay turned into a light novel, and then a manga, and then a 13-episode anime OVA, and Record of Lodoss War is still mega popular to this day. Even in 2017, there was a live-action play adaptation.
Is it still the Record of Lodoss War is still yeah. But like, is the Sword World still have the same, like the same stuff, the same, what's it called, the same rule set as it used to back in the olden days
of that campaign? So it became Japan's first big fantasy franchise, and it showed people what fantasy could look like in a Japanese setting from Japanese creators. Even though it looks like Western fantasy on the surface, it comes from Japanese players.
Guys, it's proof that WotC just keeps fucking up. So Record of Lodoss War, okay, just to tell you stuffs. So Record of Lodoss War is basically like Critical Role. So essentially, back in the olden days, there's a group of friends that played D&D, and they wanted to promote Dungeons and Dragons. So they played the game and they made content out of it. But back in the olden days, that content be a book. But WotC be all like, not WotC, sorry. The people that license it in Japan, it has 2 licensors, Kadokawa and somebody else. And they were like, no, we're not gonna let you do that. So at the end of the day, what eventually happened was that they decided, no, fuck that shit. They decided they're gonna continue making the novel. They're gonna continue making the novel, the shit, but they're gonna make their own TTRPG system. You know, doesn't that sound familiar? Isn't that why we have Daggerheart? It's right now, because technically speaking, we didn't have to have it right now. Actually, we didn't have to have Critical Role. Didn't have to have their own thing. Hello, friends. They didn't actually have to have their own, what's it called? Their own fucking system, right? They didn't need to have their own system, but because of, you know, WotC decided to be a little bit they have a new system. Apparently Record of Lotus War was a retelling of a D game too. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. That like that's why they wrote it down. That's what I heard from this here video. The WotC moment, right? It's just a stereotypical WotC moment. We plan to make more system in Darrington Press. Yeah, I heard. I think I'm excited because like Daggerheart's pretty fucking good. I played it once, okay? I played it once and it's like really fucking good. It's like actually insane. It's actually insane. It's insane how good it is. As in like it's unbelievably good. That's what I'm gonna say. Like unbelievably really good. Because how do I say it? How do I express my thoughts better? But it's like how do I say this? So like it's simpler. Hello friends, body count 0. Which that? You know, it should be 0 because you're not a murderer. Body count should be 0, right, guys? Or else you have to go to jail. GW are the twin satans of tabletop. What's GW? What's GW? Like, what is GW? I don't know what that is. Either way. And either way, it's just like that. It's just like that. I'm just happy. Not happy. I'm not happy. Well, okay. The things that I really enjoy Daggerheart. Okay, like I really enjoy it because it's amazing. It's actually fucking amazing because it's narrative, right? And it flows a lot better, I think, as a player. And I guess maybe perhaps as a DM, our DM like is like they had a good time. So I think maybe it flows better. I think it perhaps flows better. And I guess it lends itself more to RP, but it's like combat can get sweaty, but it's collaborative. So innately the combat doesn't, like you can't one-shot a guy. So it's very unlikely for you to have a fight with your party mates because you one-shotted a guy they wanted to one-shot. I've been experienced to play before DMing Daggerheart just to get an idea of how it works. Yeah, the guy who DMs for us who's gonna DM for us is Taiki. You know, Taiki from chat. You know Taiki from chat. Taiki from chat. You guys know him? Taiki from my chat. Okay, let's actually continue watching.
Gameplay, and it's got Japanese ideals peppered throughout. So
Japanese
after that,
ideals.
or kind of around the same time, fantasy really took off in Japan. JRPG video games like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy came out in 1986, 1987 respectively.
Final
they were both heavily
Fantasy!
influenced by D&D and
So Final Fantasy is D&D? Wow, wow. So I'm always in brand even though I'm now cyberspunker? Now even though I'm a cyberspunker right now, I'm still in brand. Lol. I'm always gonna be in brand. Lol.
Wizardry. They all came out at around the same time that Lotus War was first being serialized, and fantasy genre really only blew up from there. Light novels started using
Nice.
RPG-style systems like classes and skill trees. Anime series began to include things like party-based adventures and dungeon-style storytelling, and there's
Nice.
even this long-lasting legacy of a translation error where kobolds in the advanced D&D version in Japanese were said to have a dog-like snout and mouth, and it was taken by the translator at the time and mistranslated to "they are dog persons," which
Dog
in turn
persons.
created this dog.
Hey, to be fair, kobolds look like dogs. I've always, even before I knew this, I've always like flavored kobolds as dogs, or like I could use like a picture of a cute dog for a kobold, even though technically they're a dragon, right? Or a lizard.
Person kobold design. And something similar happened with orcs, because orcs are largely depicted to be very pig-like in appearance in Japanese
Pig-like.
media. It's really interesting to me that Japanese fantasy started out based on Western fantasy, but it really became its own thing. It became rooted in Japanese gameplay and imagination, and even though a lot of things did originally come from D&D, everything kind of spun around and it took its own life and it just became its own thing in Japan. I love how the creativity of a group of people sitting around a table rolling dice has influenced a whole genre of pop culture. It's really fascinating to see how we all interpret the same set of instructions differently based on the cultures and your geography. I just think it's really fun and inspiring, and I hope that you're inspired to sit down, play a game with your friends, and who knows, maybe you guys will be the next ones to make the next big grimdark hit or be the next critical
what's
role or
happened?
something. You never know,
happened?
right? Thank you for watching. A huge thank you to
Hello,
our
Dad Bro.
Patreon
Welcome to
subscribers,
Community,
and
the unity of Comeline folks who do Comeline things. And today we are looking at Dungeons and Dragons Daggerheart shit because I'm fucking obsessed. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm actually perhaps in love. I'm in love. I'm falling in love again. Howdy ho, Comarino. Dude, I'm like seriously, I'm seriously falling in love again. Like, it's been some time since I did a good, you know what I mean? Like, it's been some time. It's been such a long time since I've done. What's it called? It's been such a long time since I got into D&D again. Like, I still play D&D, but I'm not like this invested in it, right? That's why orcs is connoisseur pigs. Yeah. I like how they just turn into animal people. That's so cute. That's so cute. Okay. Okay. Wait, I don't know. I feel like I fucked something up. Okay, anyway. Oh, look, thanks for the head pat and the liquid drink. Sorry if things like start chugging. I don't know why, it's OBS that's the problem. OBS sort of like does this silly thing nowadays where it doesn't, it's slow. I don't know why. I think I need to offload some stuff for real, like big time. Thanks for the head pats. Thanks for the liquid drinks. Let's continue. So we're just gonna keep watching Dungeons and Dragons related videos. No, it's because there's a guy named Villario and like in my TikTok chat, and I looked at it. Videos. We're gonna watch some Dungeons and Dragons videos. Yes. I have another one here. How do you guys feel about Jenny D? So personally, I don't like. Oh shit! I see my dogs are knocking. Come in. I don't know what they want, but anyway. Hello. So personally, I'm not that huge of a fan of Ginny D. Oh no, my dogs are knocking. Anyway, I'm not that big of a fan of Ginny D because, like, she's great and all that, but she's a bit, what's that word? She's a bit silly. She's a bit, how do I put it? Like, she's a bit salty. Ginny D is a bit of a salty person, so I just... Ginny D's a salty individual, so I... and I sort of don't like it when people are too salty, so... Oh no. What's wrong with my dog? Come on. Come in. Come in. They're just knocking and they're not coming in. Ah, it's fine.
Lots of blood.
This is perfect. There's been
Hi,
a lot
Kix.
of discussion
Welcome to
about
the
voices
stream.
in the tabletop space. Some people think it's part of the game master's job, others don't, and some are even resentful of the way that a few well-known
Voices.
game masters have made voices a central part of their style, which some GMs believe puts pressure on them to do the same. I think most reasonable people would
what
agree
is
that
that?
it's really the GM's choice of whether they want to do voices
Oh,
or
thanks
not.
for the heart
If they
me.
enjoy it, fine, and if they
Wow, wait, did that thing that thing pop on my head? Is that real? It happened. I thought that would never happen. I thought that would never happen. I literally thought it would never happen. That's silly. I can't believe it did. Oh, thanks. Look at that. It switched my hairstyle.
If they don't, also fine. And we're all reasonable people here, right? We'd never take anyone's words out of context in order to make a bad faith argument in the comments, right? But once we get phrases like the Mercer effect out
Oh,
of our system
no,
and
not
all
that, not
agree
the
that it's
Mercer
not cool
effect.
to break your game master's legs and cut the phone lines until they agree to do voices, maybe we can have an actual nuanced conversation about the role that voice acting can play in a game. Because I do
Oh, thanks for the gifts, Kicks.
think that giving characters distinct voices can bring
Isn't it cool? Do you like the silly Do you like the silly thing it does to my
something to the game table. And if you're interested in developing or honing that skill set, boy, have I got a treat for you. Who better to teach us about voices than a professional voice doer? Also
Huh?
known as a voice actor, I guess.
a
if you're
voice
fancy.
doer,
I'm
a person that just does
I am
voices?
an actor.
Oh, like, if you guys play Overwatch, this is Symmetra, I think, from Overwatch.
Producer and author, whatever they let me do in storytelling that is legal.
I currently want to play other TTRPGs since the WotC incident. Yeah, the WotC shit really screwed things up. Now so many people just don't like, I don't know. A lot of people just avoid Dungeons and Dragons now, or at the very least refuse to give them their money. VA is fun, but sometimes it doesn't work all the time. Yeah, it doesn't. Not all the time, yeah. Awesome live enjoy. Thank you.
The video games that I'm probably most well known for are playing Symmetra in Overwatch
I will put you in your place.
and Rampart in Apex Legends.
Oh,
Journaling
Oh,
is a
shit.
brilliant way to keep other
And-
on page, activate our creativity, develop
And-
a sketching habit, and
Time to turn crap into gold.
there's
My
another
day job is
ad.
acting.
Oh
My day
no,
job
no,
is-
no, no,
is
no. This is a
TV and
thing.
film and all of that stuff. But in the tabletop world, which has been such a joy to come back into since I started playing when I was 8, and then there was like this long period of time which I call the dark days of gaming. And it was
Dark
thanks
days of
to
gaming.
Matt Marisha really encouraging me to come back to playing games, and then working with Critical Role and D20 and
Oh,
all of this really
dude.
fun stuff.
Gentlemen! Oh, I'm so sorry. Shh, the show is going on. Shh. Lady Amango, let me say, she's Jessica Rabbit as a mango.
And I DM'd
does
for
that
the first time
mean?
for you.
And you did so good.
We did the Lego D&D one shot,
Yeah.
which was incredible with Hasbro.
The Lego game, I was like, that does not feel like your first time DMing.
The Lego game.
I need you to roll initiative.
Well, I've been
Oh,
very
man.
lucky to play with some of the most experienced DMs
Dungeon
who
masters,
are also
yeah.
used to streaming. So they really lead by example. It's, you know, Matt and Abria and Brennan and all of those. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. And they're
Brennan.
very spoiled. In addition to all of that, I
Brennan,
have finally
Brennan.
written and published my very first adventure called The Malady of Minar, which is available now on D&D.
Oh, the guy, speaking of Brennan. Do you guys want to know what the name of the character I brought to the table was? Like, so I made the character for Daggerheart, right? You don't want to know their name? I have their sheet right here. I have their sheet right here, just chilling right here. Here, check this shit out. Brennan. His name is also Brennan, you know, because of the goat Brennan, you know? Brennan.
Beyond.
I was so excited to see the little, like, flag at the top of my D&D Beyond screen. Okay, so obviously Anjali is a professional. When she GMs, she draws from her experience as an actor. And when I played with her, I definitely felt like her skill as an actor made the game a lot more fun. Which is great, since that's usually what we want from games. That and a good excuse to buy a lot of
That's
highly
true.
specific polyhedral shapes. Of course,
That's
I do not
true.
believe that every game master has to be a skilled actor. We spend enough effort acting like we actually prepped for the session. Still, I think that we can learn lessons
That's
from
true.
actors to
That's
improve our
true.
game.
Can I just say, back in the day when I used to DM, sometimes I just didn't prep. There are days when I prep, and there are days when I just didn't prep. There are days when I just like shove stuff into shove stuff into the world. Like, I mean, I'd prep like a module, right? But sometimes you prep the module, you don't really read the module, right? And then you just read it on the spot. Like, I've never been caught. I've never been caught, guys. I've never been caught. I've never been caught.
Giving NPCs memorable voices instead of just talking has a few big benefits. First, it amps up immersion. If the
yes,
voice helps you
immersion.
picture the character instead of just the GM, that's gonna help players feel more
How
engaged
immersed
with the
are
game.
you?
This may shock you to hear, but most people don't find
How
this
immersed are
visage
you?
very scary. They should, though. Second, it enables players to tell NPCs apart. In a scene with multiple NPCs, it helps you track who's talking if those characters sound different from each other.
Oh,
And
yeah,
if an
that's
NPC
true.
has a
That's
memorable
true.
voice, that's just one more cue to help players remember them if they encounter that NPC again. And finally, it
That's
gives
true,
you an
that's
additional
true.
way to communicate information about the character, like that they're harmless or full of themselves or from New Jersey.
Yeah,
I think there is a
tones.
depth of characters.
Well, but then like you can also describe it, which is the main reason why voice acting isn't required for a good Dungeons and Dragons game, right? Because you could also just say the words like a normal person.
Like, sometimes
Like instead of going like, oh, hello there. I'm. Oh no. Wait. Was it? Let's do a voice. So instead of doing a voice that's like, hi there, guys. It's me, your friend. I'm a silly guy. I'm just so silly, or something like that. You could just tell them, oh, he speaks in a comical, low tone, or something like that. You know, that's also an option.
you hear someone's voice and you know more about them. For example, I'll take some from the puppy roll. So we had this bodacious husky, and he kind of sounded like this, and he was immediately everybody knew like he was super cool, and he was like the man about town, and he kind of talked like this. And then
Talk
he
like
was a
that.
very proper poodle.
Oh yeah, you know all about
You
her.
know all about her immediately.
At this point, you're probably saying, Ginny, listen, you're preaching to the choir. I already want to do voices.
Preaching to the choir. Can I get the mic a little higher? You know guys know
Why
that,
is
where
it
that
Are
comes
you gonna
from.
tell us how to do voices? And first of all, calm down. What are you, in a rush or something? You're the one
In
who
a
clicked on a
rush.
YouTube video. I think you probably have plenty of time. You're folding
Oh,
laundry
no.
or something, or avoiding doing work. That's
No,
right, I see you.
I'm
That's why it's no big deal
streaming,
that I'm about to take 60
Ginny.
seconds to talk about today's sponsor. That's enough time to
There.
fold like 5 shirts. You're welcome.
I'm not
I'll
getting
send you the
paid.
link. What
No
about changing
sponsor.
the Goblin's red eyes? Cause magic. Should we roll initiative?
Voice, just changing that up. You will
You're
hear
gone?
the people around you, your players will hear a difference in your tone and a difference in your voice just by choosing
What
to
do you
come
mean
back
you're
with it.
gone?
So don't feel the need to jump into accents and jump into different sounds. I feel like when you have the essence of a character in your heart, it will start to come through. Even when
Yeah,
I am doing
that's how it
a
works.
voice for
Voice.
a character in a video game or in
Because
animation,
you can't
it's not so
focus.
much-
What do you mean you can't focus? Sometimes when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, voice is not actual voice. Sometimes voice is narrative voice. You know what I mean? Like it's not, oh, hello there. Sometimes it's it's the way a person speaks, the words they choose, like if you're like as though you were writing a novel or something. That's sometimes that just works.
putting on something as filling it up with what I believe the character to be, and then
yeah.
deciding what that sounds like. Which means that sometimes doing a voice is not doing a voice at all.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
my
making a voice.
Sometimes it's my voice heightened from emotion. Sometimes there's age involved. But I think a lot of people think that
It's
they
like a
have
voice.
to do a bunch
Narrative
of
voice.
different voices that aren't recognizable at all from each other in order for people
Yeah.
to
You don't have to make a voice. Sometimes it's about the cadence of which a person speaks. Like, I'm pretty sure I speak pretty fast, right? But some people speak really slow. Some people speak real slow. So it's really about the cadence. I think the cadence is more important than like the thing. The main things for RPing voice is a cadence. Even don't move too much, bro. It's impossible. I have to move. It's cadence and pitch. So like if you're high pitch, example, like like I think most guys speak slower than women. So slow speech usually is what I do for dudes, and then high pitched, something small, something ecstatic, or someone ecstatic. Ah, what happened? Thanks for the followings. Welcome to the
Recognize it,
community, the Unity of
because
Comedy
I-
Line, folks. To the Comedy Line things, and today we're looking at Dungeons and Dragons
don't
stuff.
believe that.
Because we're planning. We're gonna have a Daggerheart campaign soon. So, well, actually, technically, we're looking at Daggerheart things, but it's still TTRPG role playing shit.
I just because I love doing different fun voices, I will mix them in for flavor, but it's definitely not necessary.
When you learn something about a character's personality or just some description of them, how do you then translate that into the ways that they would speak?
First, I'll start off with: is this a creature? Is this a human?
Is this a creature?
Is
Is
someone
this
that
a
sounds like a
human?
human? Like, what is that? Because sometimes creatures, like for example, the mushrooms
Oh,
in
like
our Lego
making
event,
that
they
sound.
were creatures that didn't have
Oh, I think we're like 7 actually. We're like 7 players right now. Imp. We're like 7 players right now, I think. We're like a full party. We're like a full party.
mouths, and they were tiny. So I decided that they should talk up here, like talk here.
God, I have a
Because there
different
was, I was like, there's not a
personality.
whole
Oh
lot of
no.
space for them to be making that sound.
Right, for like resonance.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
that's a
also
lot.
They're just really cute, and I
Yeah.
wanted them to sound cute. So,
they
so
did.
I gave them that voice.
Do you think one sort of element that's different from your own voice or that's more thoughtfully paired with the character is usually enough to differentiate?
I really do think it's plenty. If you want to find a physicality that suits the character, sometimes
Yeah,
that helps.
that helps.
That becomes your one element.
But the
For
problem
some
with
people,
physicality
accents are
is
very-
that you can't really do physicality over Discord. You can't really do physicality over Discord.
helpful. They aren't necessary, but for some people they are. But just something, one tiny difference that that differentiates that character. I think that's plenty.
I feel like there are really 2 points Anjali's making here. The first is about the philosophical approach to what a voice means. When she talks about the difference between
Yeah.
doing a voice and voicing a character, what I
Yeah.
think she's really talking about is intention. Why did
Yeah.
you choose that voice? What connects it to this character? I could voice a Goliath gladiator like Nigel Thornberry. Would it be hilarious? Yes. What kind of damage would his weapon deal? Smashing. But that would be
Smashing.
what Anjali describes as doing a voice. Just slapping a voice on top of
Smashing
the character.
damage.
It has nothing to do with who that gladiator is. But voicing a character is about using what you know about them to inform their speaking voice.
Oh,
If you
man.
choose the elements of his voice based on something about him, now you're voicing him with intention. Where is
Yeah.
he from? What personality and attitude
Like smashing.
does he have? How old is he? How tall is he? 7 to 8 feet?
Ah, shit. Add.
That's crazy. Did he say anything about me? The second point she's making is more practical, and that's the idea that just one differentiating factor is usually enough to make a voice stand out. So if the character sounds very old or has a French accent, that's probably enough.
Sponsored by Grab? Sponsored by Grab. I was thinking because okay, so this is my character in Daggerheart. His name is you know Brennan Lee Mulligan from Critical not Critical Role. I forget Dimension 20. So it's for good luck, I'm on like, oh, let's be the goat. Let's be Brennan. So her name is Brennan. That's kind of goofy. Their name is Brendan Jasper Hall, okay? Because they're a pirate, you see. And Hall is in, like, you know, a Hullbreaker horror, you know? Like from Magic the Gathering, my favorite game. And then, what else do we have here? Anyway, so what was I trying to talk about? I forgot what I was trying to talk about. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I was trying to talk about something, but I forgot. Oh, what site? Dagger Stack. Dagger Stack is where we do it. We do it in Dagger Stack. I actually do not know. I do not know what I was trying to talk about. Does anyone remember what I was trying to talk about? Sorry, I got lost in the exposition. I got lost in the exposition. Does anyone know what I was trying to talk about? So it's like, only Mulligan. French accent probably enough. What was I? What is the topic? What is the topic to begin with? Wait.
Personality and attitude does he have? How old is he? How tall is he? 7 to 8 feet? That's crazy. Did he say anything?
Hello. I don't know how to fancy your 7. I don't know how to pronounce your name, unfortunately, because I'm Filipino, unfortunately. Well, it's good to be Filipino, but I'm not the same as you. You don't have the same language. Hello, have a nice time. Thank you. You can call you Loy? Okay. Hi, Loy.
Anything about me? The second point she's making is more practical, and that's the idea that just one differentiating factor is usually enough to make a voice stand out. So if the character
from Philips? Philips is in the screwdriver or Philips is in the store? You're from Vietnam. Yes, I assumed. I mean, I forgot actually how Vietnamese looks. But like I assumed you're from somewhere, another Southeast Asia, because I recognize the write-in. What do you mean an aura? What do you mean an aura? What do you mean an aura, Ains? Thanks for the follow, Loy. What do you mean an aura? What does that mean?
sounds very old or has a French accent, that's probably enough. If they have a super nasal voice, they don't need to also mumble everything under their breath.
What is my point? Why did I show my character?
To play devil's advocate.
I don't remember anymore.
Unless you want your players to instantly hate them, and then you should probably do all three. Not only does this tactic help your players quickly and easily remember each character, but it also helps you remember them. It's much easier to jot down a note about your shopkeeper having a list than to log some complex
I remember it now. I remember it now. I remember it now. I remember it now. Guys, I remember it now. Okay. So class features for I think what a syndicate rogue, because I'm their rogue, they're a pirate. The class feature is that they're well connected. Ah, yes, now I remember the point. When well connected is when you arrive in a prominent town or environment, you know someone that calls this place home. Give them a name, note how you think they could be useful, and choose one fact from the following. They owe me a favor, but they're hard to find. They're going to ask for something in exchange. They're always in a great deal of trouble. We used to be together. It's a long story, and we didn't part on great terms. So what I was trying to say was that I'll be generating some NPCs for the DM and actually no, I don't remember the point, but that's what I wanted to talk about. That I'm gonna generate some NPCs for the DM. I'm an NPC generator. And what do you mean goofy laugh? The inhaling laugh that I do? Ah, yeah, dude. That's not even the ultimate form of that laugh. You see, when I was young, when I was a child, I thought it'd be really funny if I inhaled when I laughed. So it just became this really long squeak, and eventually it became my laugh. So sometimes when I laugh too hard, unfortunately, it won't be picked up on any platform. It can't be picked up, but it's just one big squeak. One big squeak. Sure, how do you say hello in Vietnamese? But I don't know if you're telling the truth because you ask if a Filipino asks you that, if a Filipino says, "Do you want to say hello in Filipino?" They're just gonna say a curse. Just gonna say "putang ina" or something like that. Ugh, ugh, ha 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 ha, like that. Lol. Okay, okay, okay. We should continue with the video. I also forgot the point of what I was trying to say. Hmm? Shin. What does that mean? Isn't Shin heart? That looks like Chinese. It looks like chinois. Oh, anyway, sorry. Chinois is sorry. It's just like the way I say it in. That's the way it's spelled in French. Why do I know French? I don't know. Hello, Daniel. How am I? I'm doing fine. We're just trying to. Hmm? You from the Philippines? Yeah, I'm from the Philippines. I live in the Philippines. Also, like it's like what do you call that? It's like I've always lived here. Oh, it really does mean hello. Oh, that's silly. I don't know. What's hello again? Ni hao? That's not hello. That's how are you. The model looks mega cute. Thank you. It's not its true form. Do you want to see its real form? This is how it's supposed to look like. But we have redeems all over at TikTok and Twitch for like different hairstyles. I can't speak French anymore. I learned French in the olden days. Yeah, I'm live again. Hopefully I could be live more often is the hope. Is the hope. I hope I could maintain this, so to speak. Instagram model. Okay, yeah, I already read that. I already read that.
Quirks.
I know you've been acting for a really long time, so this may not apply anymore, but do you like practice a voice that you're going to be doing frequently?
I play with my voice a
Oh.
lot just to see what new things I think I might be able to do,
Hmm.
so that I'm not
Dun,
walking into a
dun.
situation where if they need 20 voices, I don't have them to give them.
You 20
practice like the
voices?
craft of
Yes.
being able
Hello in Vietnam. I could. But it's so hard to pronounce words in different languages. That's what I learned because different languages have different what's that silly thing called? Like your tongue gets fucked. Like my pronunciation of Filipino and English is a bit silly because I try to learn both Chinese and French, right? So sometimes, especially on the R's, like it gets really weird. It gets quite strange. Oh, that's okay. I don't really mind 18 plus art as long as you are respectful. Respect not necessarily of like respectful of where you place it and you tell people it's me. Yeah, I think I'm good. Oh, as long as this is okay. I would have a problem if there's something illegal in it. That's the thing. Illegal. Illegal for internet standards, not illegal by law. God, and how are you, lovely, amazing lady? Oh, hello, Death God. We're doing great today. We just started stream today, really early because for some reason, I woke up early and I did my chores and I'm still here. I'm still here. We're probably gonna end stream at around afternoon and then we're gonna start streaming again later because I want to play some Marvel Rivals with friends, perhaps. Thanks for the check-in, by the way. Okay, got it. I'm gonna make it NTR. People love NTR. People do love NTR. NTR is such a what do you call that? That's a woman's favorite genre. Why? It's just I don't know. I don't know. But I also like NTR. It's drama. It's dramatic. That's why people like NTR, I think. Do you know that's my that's my what's that? That's my current, like, when I play Marvel Rivals, that's it. It's the NTR arc. Cause like, was that Jean Grey and Wolverine have a team up? Like, okay, if you know X-Men, Jean Grey and Wolverine have a team up, but like Scott is nowhere to be found. Cyclops is nowhere to be found. I was talking to you on YouTube. Yes, it's okay. We have a Twitch and TikTok, right? You guys won't leave me TikTok, folks. Okay, I think I'm gonna play the video again.
To change your voice. 100%. What does playing with voice sound like for you? Like, what does that mean?
Ooh,
Well,
good
sometimes it means I'm talking to
question.
my dog. Literally talking to myself and
Oh, but
figuring out silly voices to
YouTube
talk
has
to myself
latency
in.
though,
If
by
I'm
the
researching
way.
a show,
So if
a
ever,
series or something like that, I think to myself, oh, what's a character that I could play on that show, and what would they sound like?
I could have
Super
guessed.
fun. I did that a lot with Game of Thrones. If
Could have
you were
guessed
to
that, Kat.
give dungeon masters who are not planning on doing anything with acting, but just
Send me! Is this a send me raid? Wait. How do I shout out? Can someone tell me if it's working? Because I can't see. Oh wait, never mind. I could try to see. Send me when are we gonna bruh, send me when are we gonna collab, but I'm the one who hasn't written back or whatever. I think I can schedule it soon. It's just that things have been tough. I got my dog hospitalized like after debut. The day right after debut, I had to my dog had to be sent to the hospital. So so it's a bit complicated, I guess. It's a bit complicated right now, but it stopped being complicated because my baby girl's back home. Thanks so much for the raid. Let's shout you out. Shout out. But no, I'm sorry to hear about your pupper. Yeah, at least they're good now. It was I'm gonna say it honestly, it was unbelievably expensive because this is their second time being hospitalized. So I have a little thing there and you can see the full breadth of my problems on my Ko-Fi. But what happened was basically because they were getting a lot of ticks. So at the very beginning, when they were puppies, they lived in like the second floor of my home. Right? They lived in the second floor of my home. But unfortunately, they started getting ticks. None of my dogs have gotten ticks. Like, none of my other dogs have gotten ticks. So I was like, it was like startling. Not as a hello in Vietnam, just gonna Vietnamese you in Vietnam will teach you. Really? That's so sweet of them. But okay, so we moved them from the third floor of my house to just free roaming puppies. And then my sister started working in the third floor and she brought the puppies with her and there were ticks there. So they started getting ticks. So eventually there were so many ticks that I had to, what do you call it? I had to do something about it. So we tried to give them a tick collar, right? We tried to give them a tick collar, but the tick collars are notoriously not good for dogs. Little did I know. Oh well, because sometimes the ones that like are like gooey and like plasticky, you sort of like dogs sort of wanna eat it. So at first it was fine, but then eventually after like a week, one of the dogs, like we looked at her and then she didn't have her tick collar, and then we didn't know that she ate it, but then yeah, she did eat it. So later that night, we had to rush her to the hospital because you know, it's poison. Yeah, it's poison. Hi Harold, welcome to the stream. It's poison. So you rushed her to the hospital, and then they had to stay there. They had to do stuff, but it was a bit too late. Nearly, it was like, honestly, I think my dog's nearly died. Oh, hi Aurora, welcome to the stream. Hi. Oh, thanks for the check-in. Anyway, so yeah, they nearly died. My one dog. Okay, so. And then we brought her to the hospital. She had to stay there. And then we came back home and I noticed my other dog is being weird. They're okay now. They're all okay now. My other dog's being weird. Like they're being loopy, you know? Like they're walking funny. So I had to send all 3 dogs to the hospital. And yeah, so that they could watch over them because like eating poison, like I know it's from a tick collar, but that's still poison. Eating poison, they could die. They could really die from that. And eventually they got better, which is why they're all home right now. But that's just 3 puppies hospitalized. And since it's poison, they have to take a blood test like every day. At the end of the day, like the total cost of them staying in the hospital was like $600, which is like a lot in Filipino. That's a lot of money in Filipino. Thanks for the check-in, Harold. So, my other dog, the one that Pudding. Okay, so they all got home safely. They're all home. They survived being poisoned. And then one of my dogs started like, just right after debut, one of my dogs was acting weird, right? They were sort of like, how do I describe acting weird? Like they just, you know, like they were acting silly. They were acting matamlay. They were acting like, see you, Loy. They were acting matamlay, which is like they were acting sick. They were acting unenergetic, and then I was worried. I just waited. I took a nap that day, and then I told myself when I wake up from my nap, they're not okay. We have to send them to the vet. So my family came home. They were out that day, and then they called that. They looked at her. She was really weird. Do you like brown or black? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Brown or black? What? Anyway, so yeah, so we had to send her to the hospital again. She was there for like 5 days, I think. 5-6 days. And they thought it could have been parvo. It's not parvo. They just, I don't know, something happens in their gut. Something happened in their gut. Brown or black what? Like people? Or like colors? I like well, to boast it's probably black, right? Okay. Can't say it here. Let's just go with black. So yeah, so that's what happened to my dogs, to Pudding, and I was so worried. Especially the first time, dude, I was like bawling. But the second time was like really bad because apparently I just found out that I get like physically harmed. Like if example, I'm like worried, like it has a physical reaction. I'm not crying, but like my heart hurts, like my chest is tight. I feel like vomiting and I can't breathe. So I'm sorry if I haven't streamed like 5 days. Yesterday I was a bit not okay. But that's the reason why. It's because being worried sort of has a physical reaction on me. And I don't really want it. I don't really want to have a physical reaction. I don't really want to... I don't know, maybe I was overreacting, but I don't think so. I was reacting like a bit much, but at the end of the day, it's against my will. I'm being uncomfortable. I'm being harmed. It's like I'm feeling these emotions as a reaction to the world, and it's happening against my will. I don't really... I have zero control over the physical sensation. Gotta throw the black one. Alright, so let's just keep watching. Let's keep watching.
Maybe want to improve their range of how they can voice NPCs. What would be like your top tips for those people?
Top tips.
I think first of all, don't worry right away about doing a voice. Think about the essence of that character.
The essence of the
Close your
character.
eyes and think about what that character sounds like. Don't feel like you have to do an accent or have to.
Yeah, Rara, that's what we're gonna do. Since I can make as many NPCs as there are towns. I can make as many NPCs as there are towns, Aurora.
To do with this or I have to do with that unless you feel like it really fills a character with something extra. It's fun, it's an extra layer, it does give them depth, but it's by no means necessary for you to be a
That's
good
true.
Playing
No,
with
not
accents
necessary.
involves not being worried you're going to offend someone in the moment, right? And so having a conversation with the various players
That's
you have at
true.
the table, particularly if they are from a
Which
different country
pose?
or sound different or whatever, playing with those voices, seeing how they feel about it,
Which pose
about
aims?
you maybe trying that and
This
that
one?
being a part of a character or something. I as an Indian person, when people want to try to learn the accent, everybody has to sound bad at it before
There
they
you
sound
saw
good.
it.
Some
Right.
people are just savants and they have it immediately, but they have to sound bad at it. As long as you're not ridiculing me and you're doing it at my table in a safe space and we're not on
Yeah.
camera,
Right.
go for it. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out if that is necessary to this character.
I know that I can sometimes default to using accents that have these sort of cultural signifiers attached to them that might be problematic.
Yeah.
Like, why do
Yeah.
I make every rich fancy noble sound English?
Yeah.
You know, like
Why in every fantasy movie ever is everyone sound British?
you can all give each other grace because you all understand nobody's trying to hurt anyone.
Yeah. But like, was that like? Do you remember Nosferatu, the recent popular movie Nosferatu that came a Halloween movie that came out during Christmas? They had like. They're all British accents because that's what they used to do, and all of the people that originally made like the horror movies thingy majiggy whatever, something like that. I forgot the explanation.
Yes, and you know that if someone is offended by something, they can tell
they can
you, and
speak
you'll
up.
be like, "Cool,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
important.
not do that."
Right.
That's
I hope
important
that
saying.
people's
Just make
home
sure to
games
tell
are that.
folks.
Safe places not just to explore the fantasy and the story, but to explore the human condition and explore things that we don't necessarily safely get to do in real life.
There's something really important that Anjali mentioned here that I just want to highlight. She said, let's figure out if this is necessary to the character. Does
Necessary.
it give the character something extra? I think this is a really good question to ask yourself if you're worried about overdoing it. Does the voice you're doing actually add anything to the character, or is it just something that you're adding on top because that's what game masters do? The whole
That's
point of using
true.
voices is to enhance your characterization, but giving a character a flawless Scottish accent doesn't
A
automatically make them
flawless
interesting.
Scottish
I'm sure there are
accent.
boring Scottish people. I mean, I've never met one, but they probably exist. Instead, think about the specific
How
choices you're
yammer?
making
Or
and
is
what
that
they're actually
Irish?
doing for your players.
Which
that
one's
might be
this
something as
however?
simple as making them laugh, or something as narratively important as making them mistrustful. But whatever it is, there should be something.
Mistrustful
If
sounds like a
anybody
name.
does want to get your new adventure,
Yes.
where do they get it?
They go to D&D Beyond. You may have heard of it. Yeah, just go to D&D Beyond, head over to the marketplace. It's called The Malady of Minar. It is a 2 to 3 session adventure for level 5 players. There are themes in there of darkness and light and love and revenge and all sorts of crazy stuff.
I love an adventure that has complex goals besides just like kill bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think that you've done a really good job writing an adventure that has like various interconnected that's complex goals, and that's my favorite thing about an adventure.
Thank you.
so.
Thank you. That makes
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm your student, so that's very cool to hear that from someone that
Aw.
I binged all of her YouTube videos to try to learn what I'm
Oh,
doing.
that's
That was very
sweet.
generous.
That's
Well, thanks for
sweet.
talking with me. Yeah, thanks for coming over.
Geneti's
Now
videos
we
are
can go-
cute.
Let's go.
It's her
I
personality
made a whole
that's
video
salty,
about
which is why I
developing a
don't like
character
her too
voice a few years
much.
ago, and obviously I'm not nearly as informed on this topic as Anjali is, but talking
It's
with
a
her actually
talent I
made me
wish
feel
I
like
was
I was
given.
on the right
Gifted. Oh, Rara, the secret technique is to feel the person in this. You can meow for me. That's the secret technique, is to just feel the vibe, you know. I like as like I may be a woman, but I only play. I think I have a hard time connecting with female characters, so I don't like make girl characters for D&D. I think it's because it's like you're tasked to roleplay a girl, and being girl is difficult. So I'm tasked to roleplay something that I have a hard time with, yeah. So I tend to roleplay dudes. So I tend to roleplay dudes. And I can't make my voice low. Like I can't make my voice low. I can go hello, hello, baby girl. I can't do that. I can't do that shit. My voice is pretty high. So I just like carry it with cadence. I carry it with the cadence of the voice. And if you're doing accents, you'd notice that there's a different accent for feminine, a different feminine accent versus masculine accent. Is it too bouncy, by the way? I could adjust it maybe if ever. But there's a feminine accent and there's a masculine accent. So if you pick like example English, or it's not English, sorry, I don't know. If you pick, maybe you want them to have an Australian accent, you could give them a masculine Australian accent as opposed to a feminine Australian accent. It's hard to hear it in your own accent, right? Because you speak a lot of English, speak a lot of Filipino. It's hard to hear the difference in like gender, but there is a difference. English. English. What they call that? Hamburger. Shinpashi. uh, so basically that's it. Just like if you have an accent, just pick the thing, and then you got shit. You got shit. You can be a person of a different gender. Hello, Don. Welcome to the community. The Uni of Community Line talks to do community line things. Moomy. Yeah. And then I guess you can do it. Then after that, you can do it based on personality. Example: somebody is like depressed. They'd probably speak slowly and they'd probably stop talking. And I'm not saying that depressed people sound that way because they probably don't. But the vibe is depressed. The vibe is depressed. If you want somebody to be jaded or or something like that, use a lot more vocal fry. You know, like those goth girls that are probably that usually like are selling shit. Like example, I can't do it right now because I'm streaming and I'm like tired-ish. My voice is tired. So my voice is like literally I'm using my voice right now in like what do you call that? In power saving mode. When I stream, I use power saving mode on my voice. It's like I put my voice in a place where it's easy to speak. A lot. Yeah. So, uh, so vocal fry is another thing that you could do to make a voice. It's like the part of the voice, you know, the like that when you see some people talk, like hello, hello, or something. Hello, hi, Sanos. Welcome to the stream. And then there's like how high and how low, but you really can't make things higher than you actually could, right? But yeah, that's it. That's how you do the stuff. That's how you voice act. Voice acting for beginners. Voice, I mean like making D&D voices for beginners. Random act? Is she cute and real? Who? Me? I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna show anyone my face because it's inconsistent. Can I tell you guys? Like everybody, anyone who doesn't know yet, I have a skin condition. I have eczema. So my eczema gets all over my face sometimes, and so my face is very inconsistent. So what I have gotten into doing is just like it's just never showing my face, because if I showed my face, it'll be inconsistent and it could be, I don't like inconsistency, so that's it. Random simping. Alright, okay, let's continue the video.
Right track with this one, so you can watch this video next if you want more of a step-by-step. Or if
By the way, guys, simping, like, okay, guys, do you know I made the design, the art, and the way this thing moves by myself, so all by myself. So I really appreciate it when people appreciate how it looks, like for real. We don't have the right to do that. Yeah, yeah. To be fair, back in the day, I really before the skin condition hit, I actually really wanted to like make like face cam content, like YouTube content, because I really like comic books. That's why I'm called Comic Kitty, because I really like comic books. So I was planning to make like comic book reviews, like with my face in it. But the skin condition hit really hard, so that eventually became something I wasn't comfortable with. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. Oh, thanks, Random Art. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to Comedian of Comey Line, folks, at the Comey Line Things. And today we are watching the Dungeons and Dragons related videos on TubeTube.
If you're not done folding your laundry yet. I know that takes forever.
Oh no, that is the end.
The devil has come to Pennsylvania.
Too edgy. Roasting my first D&D character and fixing her.
I
Let's
first
watch.
started playing D&D in 2018.
Okay, wait. I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Give me a second. Where's my silly thing? That's not it. Oh, never mind. I believe in people's comprehension. I believe in God the Father, creator of heaven and earth. Joke. I mean, I do, but like, that's a vibe that was given. I believe in everyone's reading comprehension. I feel I had struggles with my skin for too long, especially when I was a teen. Yeah, dude. Well, it's not my skin. Oh, this is the worst part, right? You're my most beautiful. Oh, thank you. I really, as I said before, I really appreciate that because I made it myself. So, what do you call it? To the bathroom, bro? Nothing else. So anyway, so I'm a bit miffed because like you're supposed to have skin problems when you're a teenager, right? And then you're supposed to grow out of it. But no, it's opposite. I had like my skin as a teenager was great. Actually, my skin's still pretty great for a person that doesn't moisturize. But just don't like place me in another country, because like the moment I hit Japan or China, and leave California, I guess, when I used to live in the States, I literally start wrinkling up. So it's a bit annoying that like it's happening now. It's happening now of all times. It's getting better, but it's still bad. Hello, handsome, and thanks for the follow. Welcome to Comedy, new Comedy Line, folks, to the Comedy Line things. And today we are trying to watch some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So that was one of my biggest issues. A big issue I'd have. Eczema. Okay, guys. So, like, my tracking's pretty great, but if you see like this eye in particular, like slowly closing, that's because my eczema got to my eyes and it's making my eyes puffy. So it always happens when I'm like, during the rainy season, and I don't know why. Like, what about rainy season is making me allergic? Felt I had a wind burn from winter winds when I went to Japan. Oh yeah, dude. My problem with Japan and like Korea is okay. Korea is a bit moist, but Japan and China are very dry. And like since we live in the Philippines, since I live in the Philippines, sorry, it's like really, the air is like real wet here, like all the time. It's not dry. So my skin like is used to being moisturized by the world. So the moment that it needs moisturization from an outside source, it's like, ooh, I'm dying. I am chill only, random is being a simp. I'm sure she doesn't mind. We don't know what she's thinking. She's busy yapping. So I want to go to Japan, but still I'm a third year college student. Oh, you could eventually. You know, or you could have a trip to Japan based on like school stuff. I need to use a bathroom. I need to use a bathroom. Anyway, random act. I'm just pretty chill with these things. You know I'm not chill if I like. Actually, you know, you'll never know. You know I'm not chill with somebody if I scold you. You'll know that because like I'm very honest when it comes to these kind of things and how I feel. Anyway, I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm back. Hellos. Hellos, I'm back. I have returned. Da da da. Oh, silly people. Why are people so silly? Anyway, let's continue watching.
And at the time, I thought my character was pretty cool. And when I shared her on this channel, you guys
Oh.
thought she was cool too. But we were all wrong. Because she was not cool. She was, in fact, an amalgamation of all the common mistakes that I would spend the next 6 years making videos about. So today, we're gonna...
Can you work there, like in Japan? Yes, you can. I think Japan is currently doing incentives to increase their population. So I think they have a special visa if you just want to find a girlfriend there. Why did I let them draw me? Because I don't get fan art, and I'm okay with NSFW fan art. That's why. That's why. Because I don't really care too much, you know. Just don't send it to me, I think. Unless you already did. Then, oh well, nothing you can do now. Okay, thanks, Rora. See you around. See you around. Thanks for the lurk. Yeah, I really don't mind. I think, how do I say this? I think it's important. You know? I think it's important to, what's I gonna say? I think it's important for people to have a healthy understanding of stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know what the rest of it is, but it's important for people to have a healthy understanding of stuff. Because in case it like, what's I gonna say? Let's put this away. Because like, you know, I even preferred black. So are they speaking especially when you go around buying to communicate? No, in Japan, no, they can't speak English. No one can speak English. That's hard. But you have to learn. If you go to Japan, you have to learn Japanese, unfortunately. I mean, for work you have to learn Japanese. But as a person that has tried to learn languages before, you sort of have to, what do you call that? It's easier to learn a language if you live in the country as opposed to if when you don't live in the country. So if you want to work in Japan, I suggest you move to Japan. You learn a little bit of Japanese, then you like just conversationalish, then you move to Japan. And then after you move to Japan, that's where you can learn the rest of Japanese. Your girlfriend, she's half Chinese, she works in as a cleaner. Oh, interesting. To work at store, they really pay well though. Oh, that's nice. I was supposed to go to Japan. Okay. Japan was an option when it came to like, cause I used to do science stuff. Yeah. Japan was an option for science stuff, but I stopped doing science stuff and now I just stream. Like literally this is it. I think this is the final destination. This is the only thing I'm gonna do with my life from now on. Da, da, da.
I first started playing D&D in 2018, and at the time, I thought my character was pretty cool. And when I shared her on this channel, you guys thought she was cool too. But we were all wrong, because she was not cool. She was, in fact, an amalgamation of all the common mistakes that I would spend the
What
next
does that
6
mean?
years making videos about. So
What
today
does that
we're gonna
mean?
unearth Aisling, the elf warlock, and ruthlessly roast
What
her.
does that
And then we're going to make a
mean?
new Aisling, taking into account all the things I've learned in the years since her creation. And if you know and like Aisling, don't worry. It's for her own good. Ashling's campaign fizzled out, like so many do. But just because her campaign
Fizzled
died
out.
doesn't mean that Aisling has to die.
That's the best
I
way.
can revive her and make
It's
sure
better
her
than
story
like
gets an
it
ending.
just
More on
dying,
Ashling's future
fizzled
later.
out.
This means I get to start back at level 1 and correct the mistakes I made the first time around. And let me tell you, there are a lot of mistakes. First up, her backstory. Orphaned. Raised
Well, I want to work hard to learn when I'm finished with your studying. Yeah, it's a bit hard. If you're in uni, are you in third year? What are you third year of? Yeah, what are you third year of? What are you third year of? Uni or the other thing? Oh, uni. You're in college. Your college doesn't have like language courses. Back in the day, we had language. Back in my day, we had language courses as like an option, like an elective. Katakana is easy.
as an outcast.
Kanji, you mean Chinese? Is it kanji just basically Chinese? Ugh. That's why I have a hard time looking at kanjis because I don't what do you call that? The pronunciation. How do you pronounce these? How are these pronounced? Mandarin, sort of, because like all Chinese have the same characters. All Chinese dialects or languages have the same characters. Hello, Yan. Hi. Oh, thanks for the liquid drink. Actually, where's my actual real liquids? Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. It's Chinese, I guess. Yeah. So there are many Chinese dialects. There's like Fukien, there's Cantonese. Is they allowed? Are they really? I'm having a fun stream. Our stream's doing okay. Stream's doing okay. Stream's doing fine. Huh? Oh, did you ever... why is my Discord not open? My Discord's not open. Not even a little bit. Not open. Da 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 da. When you're eating them? Huh? Yes, I have a Twitter. It's just the same name. I'm like the same name everywhere-ish. Okay, never mind. Oh wait, so sweet. So sweet. Sorry, I'm replying to messages. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, okay. Let's continue. Hey, yo, Cyclops leader, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. We're just watching some videos today. Welcome to Kobe Super Kobe does the Kobe things, and today we're watching some videos regarding stuff. Regarding stuff. Well, Dungeons and Dragons things actually.
Trusted and rejected by your people. Stretch that moment with Cloud9. Take a bite of
Well, Dungeons and Dragons and Daggerheart things. And then later on, we're gonna play some Marvel Rivals, perhaps like 4.
Rats when it was too wet or risky to start a fire. She's pity killed fellow travelers when she knew their injuries could not. These are real things I wrote. At the age of 20, in hindsight, it is so obvious to me that I knew and still know pretty much nothing about wilderness survival.
I don't. Do I have a moderator yet? I do. I do have moderators. Unfortunately, I'm all alone at moderating right now. And okay, Random Act, can you chillax when it comes to like Ain's girlfriend? because it's a bit much. Mode? How? What is that? What is that? Because I have my moderators aren't around, unfortunately. My moderators are around. Sorry. I do have mods. They're just not here. Hello, BWM. Welcome to Community. Leave comment line facts or the comment line things. And today we are what do you call that? We are trying to watch Dungeons and Dragons related things. Okay. Isn't TikTok supposed to have auto mod? Oh, okay. Yeah, Meow. Do you like the new Meowdy emote? That's Meowdy's emote. I will be your moderator someday. If you're around. If you stay around much. If you stay around much, maybe. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Alright, let's go. Let's continue watching the silly thing. Turn off the background music because that's distracting.
But now I'm not even sure that survivalist elves was even what my DM was going
Survivalist
for.
elves.
They were like, the elves live on the fringes of society, and I was like, you mean they eat raw rabbits? Here's a quick version of Ashling's backstory to catch you up. Aisling, an orphan, was taken in by the widow Roisin, a witch and failed matriarch who hoped Aisling would rebuild the clan. After Roisin's death, Aisling made a pact with a mysterious figure called the Lady of the Soil, gaining magical powers but also a prophecy of an unstoppable rot that would destroy the world. The Lady of Soil said it couldn't be stopped, but Aisling felt differently. Thus, adventure. It is a little
Ah,
embarrassing that
yeah.
my first character was an edgelord
Yeah.
orphan with magic color-changing hair and a tragic backstory, but that isn't one of the mistakes that I'm referring to. Sometimes you just get the feminine urge to design a character who's sexy and sad. I actually had two other backstory
Yeah,
problems.
indeed. The
First
sad
and
one.
worst,
The sad one
honestly,
is
in the
really
homebrew
it.
world my DM had created, the elves were separated from and in conflict with general society.
Some songs I don't think that's allowed, right? I heard it's not allowed to play non-copyright songs. Actually, it's not allowed at all because like I'm also on YouTube, so it's like 100% not allowed. Like watching a YouTube video is chill, it's chill. But like listening to music, oh, you're in trouble. So, yeah. We're also on YouTube, unfortunately. Yeah, it'll be blocked. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna be striked. The worst thing that could happen is you'd be blocked because at the end of the day, YouTube is still a video sharing platform, and sometimes you just exist on YouTube, right? So if it gets blocked, what will happen is that nobody can watch it but you. Nobody can watch the video with you, which is fine. Which is fine. It's okay. It's okay.
We were told that elves are uncommon and were sort of gently guided away from choosing that race. But
Oh, no.
I wanted to play a cute elf, so I basically said, hey, I know you don't want us to play elves, but I want to play an elf. And my DM, who is a nice person and wanted me to have a good time, was like, fine. You might notice that this loosely resembles one of the points I made in my recent video about backstory mistakes. See, I wasn't judging other people, I was just judging myself. And the worst part is, I wasn't even attracted to my DM's elf lore. I really just wanted the effect. I was willing to burn it all down for some pointy ears. Because
That's
of this,
cute. Oh, hello, Loey Dex. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, Loey Dex. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stream this early now, from now on, if like I wake up really early because I need to be awake. I need to like stay awake. I need to keep my energy level up, and this is one way to do that. Thanks, Caesar. Welcome to the community. Coming line fixes, coming line saints. Movie on Ash's Discord. There's an Uma Musume movie. There's an Uma Musume movie. What do you mean? This is time for me to end stream and watch Uma Musume movie? Do you also live evening or midnight? Okay, so right now it's like noon. It's like noontime. It's almost 12 noon. So I usually go at 4 p.m. my time. So which is approximately 4 hours. No, 5 hours from now. 12 to 1, 1 to 2 to 3. 3 to 4. No, sorry, 4 hours from now. So I usually go 4 hours from now, but I started at 10 today because well, I'm gonna end stream. Yeah, I'm from Asia. Yeah. 100% completely Asian. Lives in Asia, is Asian. Actually, not just Asian. I'm like ASEAN. You know what I mean, ASEAN. You heard good reviews from the anime community regarding the Uma Musume movie. That's nice. That's what a lucky movie. Isn't Uma Musume like super duper, what's it called? Super duper popular now, a lot popular now. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Ah, da, 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 ah, what's happening? Da, 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 da. Oh, thanks, Tatsuya Kurosawa, for the follow. Welcome to the community of Komi Line folks, or to Komi Line Sings. And today we are trying to do stuff. Yep, yep, yep. Da da da. Da 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 da. also like how you model your character. Thank you. I wonder if it's too bouncy. Some people said it might be too bouncy. Saw that movie on Discord. Asian greater than Asian. Well, Asians are also a race in another race. A group of folks in Final Fantasy 14, in case you didn't know. Uma Musume movie? Nice to meet you too, Tatsuya. Da, da, da. You don't mind them? Thank you. I was hoping nobody would care. But I was wrong. I was a bit wrong. I just recently started streaming. Okay. Bit stupid, but this model took me like over a year, nearly 2 years to finish. Nearly 2 years to finish it. So, which absolutely sucks because back when I started making it, it's like this was definitely no problem. I can actually take off my models like lower clothes and it's fine. It used to be fine, or rather it was sort of fine on Twitch, but because things change over time, it's apparently everybody got super duper conservative within the last 2 years, so it's actually not. I'm actually like at the very edge of the law right now. Still following the rules, but at the edge of the law. Da, da, da. Alright, random art. It's a bit much that you're trying to... I think it's a bit much that you're like talking about Ain's girlfriend. So I think I'm gonna mute you for a bit, okay? Just because of that, okay? Just a quick mute. Let's do a 30-second mute. That should be fine. It's for the dad joke of the day. What did the pony ask for a glass? What? Why did the pony ask for a glass of water? Was feeling a little hoarse. That's perfect considering we're just talking about Uma Musume. Oh, okay. Let's actually continue watching.
Ashling's backstory had to do so much work in explaining why she's geographically near the party and willing to team up with them. And I made that happen by just making her super antagonistic and unpopular and severing all her ties with the elves. Which leads me to my second mistake. But first, to ensure that I can provide for my cats the lifestyle to which they have
Antagonistic and
become
unpopular.
accustomed, today's sponsor. Oh, Pablo, you only care about food.
Okay. So,
All right, team, we're transitioning
Bruh,
to flag,
bruh.
but tasks are still going to be on Bullfrog.
Did nobody see my poppycock post? There was no...
Starving to death in front of your cold, uncaring eyes? Como pudiste hacerme esto, Virginia?
Thanks to to be a sad girl. It can be a rival or something. But nope, she was all alone.
Oh, what?
Girl, please invent just every single creature that Aisling knew. Thanks to Antonio from Pointy Hat for voicing my cat. Oh, that is a brand new sentence. Okay, back to that second
I also
backstory.
like
Other than
Beluga.
the warlock patron and her own familiar, every single creature that Aisling knew was either dead or hated her. Parents,
sad.
dead. Adoptive mother, dead. Fellow elves called her names. Even the traveling companions that she left home with were nameless and died right before she met the party. This is a character with 0 NPC relationships. Like, what, was I too lazy to come up with a few more names? I was truly giving my DM nothing to work with here. If I were them, I would have been like, girl, please invent just one living person that...
Oh my god, can I be honest? Like when I make a D&D character, they have like a million NPCs that come with them. They've got I can name you their mom, their dad, their brother, their best friend, their ex-lover. Like I give a whole ass list of folks that they're associated with.
That your character knows. It doesn't even have to be a friend. If you're completely committed to being a sad girl, it can be a rival or something. But nope, she was all alone. The most alone girl in the whole world. Here's how I'm gonna fix
Oh,
this
no.
with Aisling 2.0. Since I'm not playing as her
Aisling
original
2.0.
anymore, the no elves problem kind of solves itself. I'm gonna keep her original Outlander background, but instead of whatever weird rat-eating fantasy I had back then, we'll just say that she was part of a small nomadic group of wood elves who lived.
Oh my god, guys! I understand the reference. That's from like All-Star Batman, I think. That's an All-Star. Wait. Yeah, that's like All-Star Batman, right? Where he made Robin eat like a rat or something in like a hole or something. I remember that happened. Do you guys remember that happening? I remember that happened. I might just be misremembering. Eat for now? Okay. Okay, we're gonna end soon anyway-ish. We're gonna end soonish because we also have to eat, or rather, I'm planning to eat. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Welcome to the community. New comment folks to the comment things. You don't know Cyclops?
Off of the land. Maybe a few dozen people. We can keep this idea that she's suffered and starved while also foreshadowing this world-ending prophecy by saying that the land has been showing signs of the rot. Plants and animals sickening and dying, water sources being contaminated, leaving clans like hers with diminished resources. In fact, maybe that's what killed her parents. Roisin, the woman who adopted her, can be her grandmother, which makes the orphan thing just a little less overwrought, I think. Roisin can remain a witch and matriarch of her clan, but she doesn't need to be hated for it. In fact, I think it's more interesting for Aisling to feel the pressure to fill Roisin's shoes and save her people than it is for her to just abandon them. It's also much easier now to give Aisling a few connected NPCs within her clan, even with Roisin dead. Let's say she has a friend, Kian, who is training to eventually replace his mother as clan healer, and maybe also a rival, Neve, who is a skilled hunter and charismatic speaker and thinks she'd make a better matriarch than Aisling. This story makes so much more sense in so many ways. The prophesied rot is more interwoven with the story, which means it makes sense for her to commit to ending it. It also makes sense that she would accept a warlock pact when she's trying to succeed the previous matriarch, her grandmother, who had her own magical powers. And now, when she leaves the elves to go on her adventure, that's actually a real meaningful decision because she has connections there, instead of her basically being bullied out of her clan. Which brings us to the next thing I screwed up, her goal.
Oh no, goals? Imagine having goals.
So, Aisling made her warlock pact with the Lady of the Soil, an archfey who is all about the circle of life and death and stuff.
Nice.
And kind of
nice
not
cosplay.
Really much like an archfey, it turns out. This is partially because I didn't really know anything about archfey at the time, but honestly, I'm not gonna apologize for being creative. She can be a weird archfey. Anyway, the Lady of the Soil gave Aisling a vision of a sickly blight that would take over the world and bring death to every living creature. Now, I can't remember if this was me or my DM or some combination, but for some reason, we decided that Aisling's patron told her the rot was inevitable, and she just stubbornly decided to try and end it anyway. I don't...
Oh no.
Why did we do that? That doesn't make any sense. It's like the opposite of an inciting incident. In fact, even I, the player, was never really confident that there was anything that could be done about the rot, which is not exactly great motivation for adventuring.
Oh man.
And since Aisling's patron was the one who told her it was impossible to stop,
like she has to believe it, right?
The source of information she could have had about this mysterious, magical threat was cut off. A character goal of achieving the impossible could be really interesting, but not executed like this. Instead, I ended up with a goal that made things really narratively difficult for my DM and made it so that I, as a player, didn't know how to move forward or where to find information. Of course, this is an extremely...
So have to be careful when you make D&D characters sometimes.
The elves are the ones claiming that the rot is inevitable, but...
You have to like work, you have to work with what you got, you know? You can't just like, you have to make the world, like, okay, you can't expect to get something out of something if you don't, what do you call that? If you don't put some work into it. So that's like, that's all what I'm saying. You have to put work into it.
Aisling's patron promises that she can stop it. That way there's tension and maybe even doubt, because who knows if her patron is trustworthy, but there's at least a rational reason that she would give up everything and forge out into the world to try and stop something that she's been told is unstoppable. That also makes her patron an effective source of guidance anytime that Aisling isn't sure where to go next. This is the perfect setup to allow the DM to provide little breadcrumbs as needed through visions sent by the Lady of the Soil. Of course, now that she's a better adjusted person with friends,
more
and
adjusted,
hope for the future, it's time to
well
address
adjusted
the next
individual.
mistake, her personality.
Oh no.
Feel the power of glutathione in a non-sticky serum version.
Glutathione? What's that? Joke. For skin that you'd love to live in. V-cut. Yum, yum, yum. Food, food, food. I'm so hungry.
When you write a character who grew up in a harsh environment amidst family tragedy, isolated and traumatized,
Oh, man.
it makes sense that she's gonna be unfriendly. But just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's fun. I showed up to this collective storytelling game and was like, meet my new character. She's a mean, antisocial asshole.
Oh,
And this
no.
from someone who's supposed to have high charisma, too. Yeah, I didn't factor that into her personality at all. Didn't even occur to me. Because of her background, I had this image of Aisling as standoffish and untrusting, even though my gameplay style is best described as will not shut the f up. Talking with party members
that's
and NPCs
true.
is one of my favorite parts of D&D. So
Well-
naturally, I created a character who doesn't like that. So, did I show up and play a mean character who wasn't a team player and didn't participate in social encounters? Of course I didn't. I just ignored everything I'd written about her personality so that I
no.
could still have fun and be fun to play with at the table.
Ah, yeah.
But
Sometimes
since
you
I
just make
wasn't
something
using
that
the
isn't
personality I
you.
created for her, she just ended up not really
Like
having
when making a D&D character, you shouldn't go too far from yourself is what I think, what I personally say. Because if you go too far from who you are as a person, the potential, the possibility is that it might suck.
a personality. Or just having my personality. I feel like you can see this reflected in the videos that I made as Aisling. I'm delivering lines about being this unfriendly, damaged person, but I'm delivering it like, isn't it wacky how humans are so against cannibalism? You gotta do what you gotta do to survive, am I right? In earlier videos, you can see that I was being more reserved, but that just wasn't fun to watch or to perform. So as the videos continued, she lost more and more of that unapproachable vibe and just became me with elf ears. I've said
Elf
it before,
ears.
but while I don't think it's impossible to pull off an edgy loner in a group game, it's definitely hard. And it was a challenge
yeah.
that the Ginny of 2018 was
I used to do that. I had an edgy learner. It went really well. It went really well. he has high charisma, but he just fails to roll good charisma rolls. Dude, like I had to be forced into doing it. Like the role had to be forced to exist. So essentially, I was RPM talking to people because essentially I'm an elf and I'm proficient at persuasion. So I'm talking to people. They're like, "Oh, they can't persuasive. You gotta talk to people, right?" but I always roll in like single. Like I rolled nat 1 multiple times, and the only way to escape this is for someone to give me like inspiration, to give me advantage. Like right after, like while I was rolling, and it was so stupid.
obviously not prepared for. Now, with Aisling 2.0, we've already made enough changes to her backstory that her original personality wouldn't really make sense anymore. She has like 70% less trauma under her belt. But
70%
in the interest of
less
making
trauma.
Sure that she still feels like Aisling, I want to keep as much as I can of her original personality,
Dun, dun,
but just
dun.
make it more playable. For example, instead of being deeply
Hi,
untrusting
JK.
forever, she's guarded at first. It makes
Guarded
sense
at
for a nomad to be
first.
cautious around new people. But the moment somebody proves themselves trustworthy, it's like a switch flips, and now they're one of the clan. She becomes fiercely loyal and protective, and potentially even too attached.
Oh,
maybe
no, not
giving
too
them gifts that feel
attached.
normal to her but are super weird to
Like a
non-elves.
cat?
A cool rock she found or a bird she killed. One of the things I really enjoyed
Like a
playing
cat?
was the cultural difference between the elves and the humans. I want to keep that, but the new version of the elves is way less gritty, so let's add something here. Aisling has a really dry sense of humor. She jokes around often, but
Jimmy.
her delivery is so deadpan that nobody's quite sure if she's messing with them or not whenever she describes something that the elves do. In fact, I think it would be a really funny ongoing joke
Mhm.
if nobody could quite figure out if she really does find cannibalism normal,
Oh,
or if
man.
it's just a running gag for her and she's
That's
secretly laughing
silly.
at them for being willing to believe it.
That's
Finally, I
silly,
do want to
but
address what
annoying.
charisma looks like in Aisling. Because she was preparing to be the matriarch of her clan, she learned to put on a charismatic front, dignified and confident, her leader
Ah,
persona.
yes.
But with her pseudo-dragon, Nightshade, she is completely honest, sometimes
Oh.
forgetting that others might catch the faces she makes or the things that she mutters, that she only intends her familiar to hear. In play at the table, a quirk like this would allow me to express Aisling's true feelings in a way that my fellow players can hear, even if Aisling's fellow party members sometimes can't. These were all narrative mistakes, but there is one more thing I screwed up. That's right, it's time for the mechanics talk.
Need the strength to keep going?
Oh, no.
Tiger, tumutulong magbigay ng lakas para
Tiger?
masayanin
What
nila.
is this?
Dandruff and dry hair? Use Sunsilk Anti-Dandruff para tanggal dandruff na healthy smooth hair pa.
Up there, it's
Aisling
done.
isn't just a warlock. I multi-classed her into druid. Why?
Druid.
What a great
Trulock?
question. And I have a terrible answer. Aesthetics. And novelty.
Dude, those
Aisling
don't
has had a
work well
nature theme from the
together.
very beginning, so I have no
You're
idea
in
why I thought I
Warlock?
needed to,
No.
like, justify that by giving her a few levels in druid. I didn't
Ah,
really
yeah.
know much about the mechanics of the druid class, or let's be
My first D&D character also had to multi-class them into Warlock. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try something simple. I'm gonna be a battle master, half elf fighter, and it didn't work out. It was too simple. I needed spell casting, so like okay, my personality needed spell casting, so I multi-classed into Warlock because you get a lot at level 1, level 2 Warlock. I think I forgot already, but like. I got enough. I got enough. And that the little smidgen of magic just really helped.
honest, the mechanics of the warlock class, so I was making my decision almost entirely for flavor. I say almost because I think there was also a part of me that just wanted to be able to do more stuff. I was only playing in the one game with the one character, and sometimes leveling up felt so underwhelming. Taking one more level in Warlock would have given me like one new spell or
One new
an ability score
spell?
improvement.
Yeah.
But multi-classing into Druid gives me new spells, new skills, a new language. I mean, come on. Now, if any of you were around during
That's
the
true.
Eldritch Blast debacle of 2020, you're probably waiting for me
Eldritch
to touch
Blast
on this. When I
debacle?
first shared Aisling's character sheet, people got on me about not taking Eldritch Blast. And
Oh.
I do think a fair amount of them were joking because warlocks only use Eldritch Blast is a very, very dead
And then,
horse that people
oh, I think what happened was that, oh, dude, I think that was like a real controversy. Like she got like, because Jenny D is like, she like reacts like, okay, she's a salty individual. Like she's a buttercup. She's a nice girl, but she's a salty individual. So I think people said like, oh, Eldritch, why did you take Eldritch Blast? And she was like salty about it, which she wasn't canceled, but it was like a fight. It was a fight. It was a fight because she wouldn't take Eldritch Blast.
D&D communities across the internet continue to regularly beat. But there were also plenty of people who seemed to truly believe that not taking Eldritch Blast for a warlock build was not only illegal, but immoral too. So I want to start by saying,
See, she's such a
now,
salty
with 6 years of
individual.
hindsight, I still refuse to believe that not choosing Eldritch Blast was a mistake. I firmly maintain that if that spell were so quintessential to a functional warlock build, every character would get it automatically. You wouldn't have to choose it, so bite me. And
Okay, personally, I like Eldritch Blast a lot because it's like it's super duper easy to flavor Eldritch Blast. So I really like Eldritch Blast. Okay, Ginny D could say, "Oh, you don't need it," but I think I'm pretty sure Eldritch Blast is the most flavorful spell you can have as a warlock because it can be anything because it's based on your patron to a certain extent. But like everything else is like oddly specific, right? Like Chill Touch just has like a little arm that goes out and then touches people, you know? Like Eldritch Blast is just like a force blast from your fingertips. Could be anything. Could look like anything.
frankly, combat was really loosey-goosey at the D&D table where I played Aisling. Pretty much everyone was picking spells and abilities based on what sounded cool. We weren't out here reading RPG bot or watching videos called "This Warlock build is so broken it'll make the DM straight up quit." I was playing Aisling primarily as a support caster anyway. But unfortunately, you guys are gonna win this round because I am gonna give Aisling Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, give her Eldritch Blast,
But it's not
bro.
because I was wrong the first time. It's because she's not gonna be a support character this time. She's gonna need some strong attacks.
What?
She'll be
This
adventuring
does
alone. The thing is, even though
do warlocks get support spells? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that
I
one.
want to know what happens with Aisling's story, it feels weird to take her to another DM's table. Even when I've
Yeah,
rewritten from
you have to
scratch,
make
she
like
still
one
carries
that's
so
the
much of
same
my
but
previous
slightly
DM in her
different.
story. I don't think there's anything wrong with people bringing an old character to a new table, but I just don't feel right doing that with her.
Yeah,
So I will be
yeah.
playing this new version of Aisling in my first ever full solo D&D campaign. That's right,
Solo
D&D wasn't
D&D
nerdy enough for me,
campaign.
so I'm taking it to the next level by playing pretend all by myself. I will be making a
By
video about that
yourself?
campaign once it's done, but in the meantime, if you're not familiar with solo D&D, I have a video all about it, which you can check out here.
Single
Also, if you
player
want to look back on
D&D?
all my previous
Oh,
Aisling
no.
videos, now that you're primed to see everything wrong with them, I will link my Aisling playlist too. That's the beauty of making YouTube videos for so many years. All your past mistakes are immortalized forever.
Garnier Serum Cleanser
Oh,
gently
no.
cleanses dullness and instantly
Hi,
brightens
guys.
skin in just one wash.
Oh wait, is this the end? No, it's not the end. I don't think it's the end of the video. Well, how do you guys feel about watching videos at 2x speed? Haha. Anyway, I think that's it for today. I think that's it for today. Not
The
today.
elves are extinct. Also, everyone.
For this part of stream. We're gonna come back later. I'm gonna just end live on TikTok and then raid. Okay, bye guys. Love you, mama. I'm just gonna raid. I'm gonna raid a friend. Because, I mean, like, technically on Twitch it'll be fine, but I want to take a long break. I don't want to leave stream open if it's like, I'm gonna be gone for like couple hours, 2 hours or something. So we're gonna find someone to raid. I think I saw a person I could raid a while ago. Where is she? 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 Alright, okay guys, get in here. Get in here. Get in here, get in here, get in here. And let's go!